Yes, yes, yes. This is another episode of Wake Up African People. And tonight's show is Barack Obama, the first gay and biracial president of white supremacy. And we are here today. Now, this is a hard subject because black people love this guy. Black people thought that he was going to come into office and all our problems was going to be fixed. We watched him. We supported him. Some people even voted for him twice. Even after the first 4 years, they didn't see anything. They said, well, give him a chance. The whites ain't going to let him do nothing. The whites ain't going to let him do this. The whites ain't going to let him do that. But the whites let him pass gay legislation after legislation after legislation after legislation, push the gay agenda on Africa and threaten them if they don't accept that. Then this is only the African countries that take money from them, that need their money, that's economically has a stranglehold on them from white supremacy in the first place. And then they come back with little trinkets to feed the people after they're moving all the resources and all the riches out of the country and constantly destabilizing the whole continent of Africa. This is sick. This man has given black people hell more than almost any white president that you can think of in modern times. I'm not talking about all the way back to Abraham Lincoln and slavery and the slave presidents that said slavery was okay in the Constitution where they written that the black people was 3/5 of the human being, that they were animals and they should be in servitude for life. This guy has taken his agenda of gayness and spreaded it all across Black America, all across Latin America, all across the world. This is what they're trying to do, because if two people of the same gender get together, they cannot create another life. And this is my opinion. Gays are not born. They are manufactured by other gays through coercion, through these porns, and in the schools now they're teaching you it's an alternative lifestyle. On television, every time you turn it on, you cannot even watch a program without some type of gay stuff going on in it. This thing is being pushed heavily at us. This is a war. And my boy, my friend, my brother, I'm sorry for that. I hope you don't hear that. Irritated Genie. I was talking to him earlier today. I had watched one of his videos before. I did this show, and I changed the name of the show. It was the first biracial president of America. But after I watched the evidence and all the stuff that's putting out and the different tapes, and not just the Irritated Genie, it's white folks coming out on him saying that they had sex with him and all kinds of things. And you can tell by his actions. If a brother is into sports real deep or into anything real deep, they're going to be pushing this. But so he's into this gay thing so deep that blacks don't mean nothing. Black rights have nowhere in his mind. He's null and void of any rights for blacks unless they're gay. And that's only to usher in the white gay thing. And they are taking the children now. They're going into homes and houses and breaking up families, single families. They really target single mothers real bad. And they say after they control the job, she don't have a job, she on welfare, or if the sister's just doing something that's foul, and they go in and remove the children. And what they do is they put the children in homes with these deviant sexual people we call homosexuals, and the children. I know of a case myself of a young man. Thank the Almighty Creator that he's a man now, because he's having a baby. He's a grown man now. He has a baby and a wife, but he was sexually molested inside these houses, and we know what goes on in these jails. They put black men in jail, deprive them of a woman, and the weaker man gets attacked. And then they turn all these people into sexual deviants. Then they let them back on the streets into the black community to be. I'm looking for a word. This thing got me upset. The truth doctor usually don't get upset. I really don't have to look for words, but this thing here has my nerves messed up because I never really thought it was this deep. You know, they're taking our children, and then they oh man. Astro Black, the mic is yours. I gotta collect my mind.
Yes, brothers and sisters, good evening. It's Astro Black, blacker than ever with you. We have to talk about the realities of what we're dealing with, as far as the fact that the United States of America is embroiled in what we see as a violent rise and resurgence of white supremacy, especially in the age of Obama, and because of and in spite of the age of Obama. And that white people across the planet, especially white people in the United States of America, have lost their goddamn minds and are completely incensed and emotionally infuriated by the fact that there is a quote-unquote black president in the White House. And so we're seeing the characteristic emotional outbursts of these primitive pink primates all over the country, and how they're lashing out through economic, social, political, violent, and militaristic reprisals against black people in all areas of society. And especially there's an attack on our youth. I mean, we've always known about the extremist nature and quite frankly the wholesale violence that white supremacists are capable of, white people in general. We know that they have this in their nature in ways that ever since they've come out of these caves in Europe and everywhere they've gone on the planet, especially with regard and when they have encountered people of color, which we are the majority. Let's make that clear. Majority of black and brown people all across the planet, they have responded with rape, violence, theft, murder, genocide, biological warfare, and all-out war against anything natural, ethnic, and indigenous. But it's painfully clear that in the age of Obama, there has been a traditional return to the old-style lynchings that have plagued our communities, and ever since we have been in contact with these white supremacist devils. And then so in response to this, despite the fact that Obama has made clear indications that he has in some ways related to Trayvon Martin in the similarities between himself and our poor young brother who was murdered by a white supremacist devil in Florida in 2012, there has been no political or economic response to or judicial response to the ongoing lynchings, the escalating lynchings that we are suffering right now. And so there's been a non-response from the black president, but still, in spite of that, there's all this support and political rhetoric coming out in support of same-sex marriage, in support of the rights of gay couples, the rights of gay people, the rights of people who choose a gay lifestyle. But what about the lynchings that we're suffering? What about the murders of Walter Scott, which has caught major headlines just has happened this last weekend? A lot of us are infuriated by this. Most of us are. And these are things that are happening on a continuous and escalating basis because the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist groups have infiltrated the government on all levels, and especially at the police force. And there are dogs of war, white supremacy, that are leading the charge for genocide against our people here on this continent. And still, many listeners discern in Obama's speech and his behavior a desire and ability to grapple with the innovative fashion with an unfinished business of racial justice. Obama said, after all, that the subject of race was too important to ignore, and implicitly promised to confront it when he won the presidency. But still, as of 2015, he has not. He has avoided the subject at all costs, and when he has addressed it, it has typically done so. He has typically done so more obliquely. Again, he was quoted as saying, "Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago." And similar signature musings over the Obama years do not explain much, and do not promise much, and do not tell us where we should go from here. For many African Americans, for many black indigenous people here on this continent, he has been a hero, but also a disappointment. On critical matters of racial justice, he has posed no agenda, unveiled no vision, and set forth no overarching mission to be accomplished. Take criminal justice, for instance. Nothing in the day-to-day lives of blacks in America is more menacing than their vulnerability to criminality on one hand and mistreatment by the police on the other. Yet, on neither front has Obama focused the attention of the nation. Oh yes, was a beer summit. In the first term, the president suggested that the police officer from Cambridge, Massachusetts, who arrested Henry Louis Gates, the professor of Harvard University, while he was entering into his own house after a long trip, sit together and have a beer. And Obama especially refrained from attributing a racial motive to the police's action. And for all of us who remember what happened to Henry Louis Gates, who very conveniently passes the card and mitigates and avoids actually addressing the severity of racial prejudice, racial oppression, and racial violence that we suffer right now. He had been coming back from a trip, and it had a hard time entering his house at Cambridge University. At Cambridge, Massachusetts, outside of Harvard University, and his own white neighbors called the police on him, claiming that he was breaking into his own damn house. So how the hell is it that your own neighbors don't know who the hell you are, and you're the only black man in the neighborhood, and a well-known professor at that? And when he entered and when he was in his own house, the police, like any of us when we're driving our own damn cars, the police have absolutely no respect and no obligation to respect your human rights. As a man, woman, or child, we are murdered. We're being murdered. We're being raped. We're being executed. We're being incarcerated at eight times the rate of the white devils and criminals who are here and who have written the laws to protect themselves. And the fact that there's an explosion of these incidents in the mainstream media is only because of the fluency and the frequency of handheld media, where we are reporting and documenting these events as they happen. But still, there have been no consequences and repercussions for the white murderers who are committing these crimes against humanity and these atrocities against our people. So as a culture, as a community, as a global family, brothers and sisters, we have to wake up to the reality of the black genocide that's happening right now. The 1920s, the 1930s, 1950s, 1960s have no won't the murder and the onslaught don't hold a candle to what's happening now. And whether Obama wants to admit it, it's happening because of and response to his presidency in the United States of America. Brother Akbar.
Yes, Queen Hashepsut, the mic is yours. Is the Queen with us? Okay. I don't know if the Queen's with us. Hold on for 1 minute.
Are you there?
Okay, yes, Queen, the mic is yours.
Yeah, it's definitely a black genocide going on. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You know, like I was saying, everybody thought he was the big black hope. You know, they thought Obama was, I guess, like the Messiah to come save them. Just as all these black people up here worshiping all these fake ass religions. You know, in Africa we ain't had no religion since the beginning of time. I really want to go into the story of the beginning of time, but I'm not gonna go on that. But they think that this man was going to save them, just like they think Christ is going to save them. It's all enslavement, mentally. It's not physically, it's mentally. Because these people are sick. Obama having relations with this white guy I just seen a video of, getting fellatio, cocaine, he's a murderer, he's a faggot, and he's a beast. I guess he's catering to his white side. In fact, there are so many people that are so lost out here, my people, and it really pains me right now because this is making me real upset. I'm trying to, speak as clear as possible, but this is really making me upset. I don't like this. But, if they had white supremacy slapping them right in their face, they wouldn't even feel it. But if you out here conscious, in order to hide something, like they say, you got to put it in clear view. And I feel like this. How clear does it have to be? How many niggas out here dying in these streets at the hands of these pigs? These cops is getting away. A 50-year-old just got gunned down for a traffic stop. You know what I'm saying? And they think that this is a game out here. It's not a game. Come on, black people. Y'all gotta unite. We gotta stand together. Forget all this dark skin, light skin stuff. And brothers and sisters, we need to stand together with this black love because that's also a tactic from white supremacy. They want to come in the homes and destroy the white homes. They want to separate the mothers and the fathers so the mothers and the fathers can't raise the seed. If you can't raise the seed, then the plant is going to wither. Ain't no plant going to be there no more. It's going to wither away without the nourishment of the mother and the father. So they know, to get in there and try to destroy a household. And there's so many drugs being pushed in our neighborhoods. You think that was by mistake, by accident? No, they try to make easy money. But all it is a rat chasing cheese. That's what it is. They playing cat and mouse. They give you the drugs. Like back in the day, I watched the movie Boys in the Hood. Like the father was explaining, man, we don't own no boats. We ain't got no planes. Who's bringing all them goddamn drugs over here? It's not our people. We ain't doing that. But it's all a game. It's a setup. So what they do is they put that cocaine and crack in your children's hands, take them out of school and put them in shoes and stuff that they can't afford. They do all these things, to spoil them a little bit, just like they did the slaves. Just like for instance, we was talking about how women are separated by this white man coming into the home. For instance, I'll tell you straight off top, EBT. Welfare makes black women too comfortable within themselves to get up and try to build as a family. That's why the government made all this stuff available free housing, free food stamps. We're going to feed you, we're going to clothe you, and we're going to put a couple dollars in your pocket. Long as you keep that nigga out your house. Even if, you got Section 8, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have Section 8 before. If you got a nigga on Section 8 that got a felony or something, y'all could be married. They don't give a damn if y'all married. If he got a felony, he cannot be in the house that the master provided for you. See, and that's a big thing right there by itself. And another thing, we need to wake up because these white people is trying to take over the world. They planning to exterminate the black race. They want to decrease the population of black people. It's called Death Card Zero, which means, hello, no blacks on the face of this earth. Extermination of all non-white people. Did y'all hear me? Extermination. This is a document that came up. It's called National, where's it at, brother? Give me 1 second. It's called National Security Study of Memoriam 200. And this is a public document that was produced by Henry Kissinger, which was a GRU, and it was written December 10th, 1974. Y'all can go check it out yourself. It's in the public records. This is eugenetics. Eugenetics is the scientific design to see how many you could destroy, like over 100 million people. This is something that's to destroy over 100 million black people. It's a scientific policy that's been in place. You know, it's 2015. They been was planning on erasing niggas off the earth. You know, and it's just not us. They plan on, you know, I looked at it, you know, where the population control targets is. We got coming in India. They want to erase all of them. India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nigeria, Mexico, Indonesia, Brazil, Thailand, Egypt, Ethiopia, Colombia. Come on now, that's just a few. You know what I'm saying? Brown, black, yellow, red. You know what I'm saying? It's the ulterior motive, you know, to keep the white man dominant. You can't send a colorful UN force. We got much better leverage than that. Then there's another guy called Alan Gurmacher. He was the president of Planned Parenthood and a former vice president of American Genetics, Society Reducing Population of Third World Countries. So the U.S. can have increased access to natural resources by killing off all the niggas. They want to come over in our land just to kill us for some goddamn natural resources, particularly minerals and metal. And the Planned Parenthood tactic, you know what that is? That was a scare tactic after disaster, you know, back in that hit Haiti and Guinea, South America, back in 1997. You know what they told them? Let us set up our abortion clinics and let us give y'all birth control so we can control all y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what they saying. You know, let us come over there. And for all them years, 12 years, these countries said, hell no, we don't want no abortion clinics. But then they got hit by disaster. So they reached out because they needed help from the United Snakes. You know, they needed that aid. But the United States told them, you know what? If y'all ain't going to accept killing y'all motherfuckers off, excuse my language, then we ain't going to give y'all no aid. So they had no choice but to bow down to these motherfucking people, you know, trying to kill all of us. They had no choice. Because people was over there, they needed medicine, they needed, you know, bandages and certain vaccinations that's killing them off anyway. You know, they needed those things over there. So it was like some whole ransom stuff. Like, if you don't do this, then you ain't going to get that. You know, bottom line is, y'all, I don't mean to get all hyped, but this is a topic that is really touching my soul. You know, we got women out here bleaching their skin, wearing these Asian hair hats on top of their head. And it's so sad because I was watching also a video, a brother over there in Africa. He went over there, you know, trying to help out his people and stuff. And he said when he went over there in Africa, he said they didn't even have anything as far as a woman childbirth kit, but they had plenty of abortion tools. They had plenty of birth control pills. They had plenty of condoms over there, but they did not have nothing to assist a woman giving childbirth. Now, if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Because this is not talking about history. It's not talking about philosophy. This is talking about you and me. You know, even in North Carolina, we got women out here reaching out. They sterilize them, and they can't have babies, you know, unwillingly. Wake up, America, man. This is a global plan by these white people to kill us. Black power.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is a war. Like Astro was pointing out, they shooting us down in the streets. The Queen's pointing out, they're killing us with abortions. They're sterilizing the women. You go in for a simple procedure, and you come out sterilized, and you can never have children no more. You know, all these things have been going on for a long time, but they have ramped up, you know, their machine to get rid of black people, brown people, yellow people, because white people are being killed by nature. They're not producing. They can't have children. They say that statistically, out of a black woman has 7 children. White women is 1.7. So they already is the lowest people on earth. And people are waking up to their shenanigans and waking up to their atrocities. And they are trying to kill us dead or get rid of enough of us so they can feel comfortable on earth. Now, this is right here going on in America too, so don't think it's just in Africa. Why do you think they criminalize black people with drugs, with crack cocaine, and then when white folks do powder cocaine, which cocaine is cocaine, they get a slap on the wrist, but you practically do life. And then, and when I say life, I mean life, because even when you get out of jail, you're still in jail. You can't get no job. Employment is almost impossible. I've seen brothers out here doing all sorts of things trying to stay out of jail. But it's impossible. You can't get a job. You hungry. You're going to start looking at, some illegal activities. So it's a vicious cycle of around and around. And long as they keep the men away from the women, there's no children. Imagine if them 100, they got 2 million in jail, what they're claiming, probably more than that. Then they have these FEMA camps where they take the homeless, and it's more homeless blacks than anybody else. And they take the homeless to these camps, and they can't even leave the camps. Only time they can leave the camps are on their little appointments and stuff like that. Then they're able to leave the camps. But what's happening is that's keeping them away from the women. And when you keep men away from the women, you don't have to worry about children being born. So now what they're doing is reducing us through not even coming together in a man and woman way. So this thing is deep. They're sterilizing our women. Let's go with that. They sterilizing our women. They are creating this homosexual society and lifestyle with television and all the other vices and schooling and everything. Because in school, if your children buck up against a openly gay child in school, they get disciplined and kicked out for bullying and everything else. So this thing is deep. Now they took it from America and took it into Africa. Now the African countries that's dependent on America to give them money, being that America and Europe and all the white powers are the ones that put them in the position that they're in anyway, now they go back to them with these crumbs. But in order for them to get the crumbs, they have to say that they're going to reduce their people, reduce their population. And it's another act that was signed by Jimmy Carter in 1978 called the Global 2000 Act. This was the act to reduce the world population so whites can have the resources and feel safe from dark and colored people. And this goes all the way back to the 1920s. I ran across a book that talked about too many yellow and dark and black and brown people in the world, and the whites were even looking then, way back then, on how to get rid of them. So, see, we look at whites and we think they're like us. Black people, most of us, think day to day. Whites have long-term plans that they carry out. They don't think day to day like we do, because we are carefree people and we just don't worry about nothing. We don't even worry about our own children, as far as another black don't attack them. But when the whites are attacking our children, the yellows are attacking our children, the reds are attacking our children, all the foreigners that come into America and set up businesses in our community, attacking us and our children and disrespecting us, we don't have nothing to say. We need to wake up. And this is Wake Up African People. And if you're tuning in, we are going to try our hardest to wake you up. So, like I was saying, Astro Black was talking about the killing and the shooting and everything. Now, that's like 300-400 people a year, maybe more, that get shot down and killed by the police, by the white police. But then we have blacks killing blacks. We don't talk about that much. But that's another problem. That's why we need to get out into these streets, talk to these brothers and sisters out here, no matter where you live at. Stop being scared of these people. Most of them is your children anyway. Start educating them that they should never kill another black man unless it's in real self-defense. That you have a Negro peon that just don't understand that he's not supposed to be attacking another black person. The Jews have a law that a Jew should not kill another Jew. We need that damn law. that a black should not kill another black. But what's happening is we're being coerced with television and, all these video games these video games are so vicious. They got them now where you can actually see the blood and everything. It's not real blood, you know that. But in the video, they bleeding and, just total carnage. And they're pushing this stuff. They're pushing it hard into the minds of our children. Stop buying your children these Xboxes and these games and giving up into the whims of your children because advertisement on television is making them want this stuff. Leave these stuff alone. Leave this white culture alone. Stop doing what they tell you doing. Stop making your women kill their babies because you're scared to go to the child support court. Do your job. Get in there. Black women right now is in a position where they don't have no man whatsoever, and even they are turning to other women now because the black man has been so downtrodden and emasculated and unemployable by the white system that our women are starting to look at other women, and they don't even look at the black man as a man no more because he can't provide, because they told you if a man can't provide for you, he's not a man. That is not true. If he's sitting there, even if he don't have a job, you know who's not making the jobs possible for him. They're the ones controlling the jobs and everything. So if he's not getting a job and you see that this is a trend going around, all these black men, when you go into the black neighborhoods during the daytime, sitting on stoops, standing on corners, everything, waiting for the police to come and fabricate something, or maybe they even may do something to get locked away. So when they locked away in jail, they can't have a woman. There's no conjugal visits that I know of in any black jails or anywhere black people are locked up at. And if there is, they probably done got rid of them. So we got to stand up and do better, black man. We got to take our women back because they broke us up. They've been breaking us up ever since slavery. This is not new. They've been doing this because our birth rate is impeccable. A black sister I know families that had 13, 14 children from the same mother and not even a set of twins in the whole bunch. So we're going to bring this information, and I'm going to tie Obama into all this gay agenda and reason why he's so into this gay stuff a little bit deeper before we get off this air. But I'm ready to bring Astro back. The mic is yours.
Right on, brothers and sisters, and thank you, Queen Hashepsut and Brother Akbar, for your words and for your intensity. In Kenya, in over the last week, we saw a massacre of university students. On the massacre in Garissa, Kenya's. In Garissa, Kenya, at Garissa University was Kenya's deadliest attack since 1998 bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, and it claimed 148 people, of which 142 were students, 3 police officers, and 3 soldiers, all black brothers and sisters. But where is the public outcry? Where are the world leaders getting together to have a march like they did in response to the 7 journalists who were murdered in Paris, France, behind their mockery of the Prophet Muhammad? It's not happening, and it's a clear indication. And this is this vicious massacre, and the lack of response from the world community is a clear indication of how much value is placed on the lives of black African people, of our people. We're being lynched from Cairo to Ferguson. We're seeing mass murders of our people in universities, on the streets. Babies are killed in their homes from forceful entry by police. We're getting caught on, like Walter Scott. We're seeing our elders being gunned down in the back in broad daylight. No one's marching for us. Angela Merkel, Netanyahu, David Cameron, of the Prime Minister of the UK. No one's speaking on these issues, and quite frankly, this should have been a long list of wake up calls for our people. A vicious massacre of university students took place in Kenya, and you're not seeing the world stop like they did. There was no interruption of the Easter weekend festivities. People still were egg hunting, and there's no march by the world leaders. And quite frankly, even the Christian and the Muslim leaders are eerily silent about the deaths of our university students, some of our best and brightest, at the hands of these CIA agents who were posing as Muslim insurgents in Kenya, Al-Shabaab. And all this is happening under the age of Obama, the administration, in which they have passed the torch. It started with Clinton, called AFRICOM, the African Command, where their intention is to militarize and control through brute force, intimidation, and coercion and regime change the raw materials and resources on the African continent in order to fund their project for the new American century in the 21st century. All of the nuclear materials that are put into the bombs come from African soil, but still there are no arms manufacturers in Africa. So where are all the fucking guns coming from, sisters and brothers? Bill Clinton started AFRICOM. George Bush escalated it in his war against the civil liberties and the human rights of people of color all across the planet. And Obama has took the torch, and he's carrying it on. So you saw back in 2012, in the midst of what was called the organic revolution and regime changes that were happening all across the planet, in Africa, starting in Tunisia. But the clear collateral damage was that NATO and its Western allies, the French, the English, and the United States of America went in and they bombed the shit out of Liberia. They bombed the shit out of Libya and forced the murder of Muammar Gaddafi. And say what you want about Muammar Gaddafi and the Libyan project, but they were the strongest economy on the African continent before all of this happened. Now they're a failed state. And the chaos, the massacres, and the complete destruction that followed the downfall of Gaddafi in Libya has created a vacuum in North Africa. And that vacuum is being used to funnel guns, ammunition, resources, and intel to these puppet Islamic groups, namely Boko Haram, in order to murder and massacre and create more conflict and division and chaos in Nigeria, which is now the big dog on the continent. Nigeria is the strongest economy in Africa. So all these, the rapid succession of events, the cause and effect, are happening in order to destabilize and destroy our countries and destroy the liberation and the self-determination that we have been trying so desperately to engage and create following the end of colonialism in the 1800s and quite frankly in the 1900s. We're seeing the explosion of the Ebola virus in newly freed and independent states of Liberia Guinea-Bissau, and Sierra Leone. These are all countries that have tremendous gold resources, rubber, tin, tungsten. Even in the Congo, some of the most richest and fertile rainforest land that exists on the planet, where all the components for your cell phone technology come from. But the United States of America and the Department of Defense won't tell you that they have patents for the Ebola virus. They have patented this virus as a biological agent of war. And what they do is they pay off corrupt African leaders in order to use their and gain access to the populations and use them as test events in order to administer and document the death rates of these biological agents on our people. In the same way that they use syphilis on our men here at the Tuskegee Institute. This is all happening under the watch of Obama. So the genocide is continuing. The genocide is mounting. As AFRICOM, the United States Military Command, wraps its tentacles around the continent and jihadist organizations spread mayhem and massacre, Africa sometimes seems to be lost in its internal and political compass. In the absence of a sustained revolutionary organizing, desperate, confused, oppressed individuals have unfortunately responded to the terrorist call to arms. And the African Union characterized a recent armed attack that killed more than 20 foreign tourists and others at the Tunisian Museum as heinous and cowardly. But a connection between the five gunmen who staged the raid and the terrorist groups have not been confirmed, but we know who did it. The continued escalation of terrorist activity is in no way beneficial to Africans, but is marginally helpful to Western countries because it provides a convenient excuse for the military forces to not only maintain but increase their presence on the continent. And while Western countries may have some concern about the innocent people harmed by terrorist activities, it is reasonable to believe the real purpose for the buildup of U.S. and European military troops and installations in Africa is to maintain and gain access to oil fields, mines, and other natural resources through intimidation, and if necessary, the use of force against anyone who gets in their way. So we're seeing all these proxy wars, and our brothers and sisters are being used as matches to light the fire. The fires of war and destruction. They're competing with emerging economies in China and Russia and gaining access for our people, our resources, and our land. And they're using slash and grab tactics in the guise that political and militaristic intervention is going to create solutions for things that they have created. Have no mistake, anyone who studies history and knows the tactics that they use are very well of how the KGB and the United States used the Cold War to destroy our emerging independent nations in Africa. They assassinated Patrice Lumumba in the Congo. You know, they ousted Kwame Nkrumah. They've caused ongoing civil wars and massacres in Sierra Leone and Liberia. And we've never had a breath. And whenever there's a sign of relief, there's a window of opportunity for us to build and rebuild and to create justice and sustainable growth for our communities and a world where Africa exists for Africans. The jackals, the murderers, the terrorists, the devils come right back. But this time they're using blackface to do it. Obama has opened the doors when the world had already closed them against the terrorist nature of the known snakes of America. Everyone had hated and turned their backs on America. They created this economic crisis. They created all these upheavals and mass destruction all over Africa, bombing innocent people, creating mass migrations out of Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia. We have to wake up, brothers and sisters. This is a war. These are proxy wars that are building up to a new global conflict in the 21st century. And if anyone's going to stop it and create justice and peace on the planet, it's us. Let your brothers and sisters know what's happening.
Exactly. We got to let the people know what's happening, and we are doing that on Wake Up African People. We tried to bring you provocative information, and if I didn't think that this information was valid, I would not even let it on the show, because we're not here to misguide our people. We're here to uplift them with knowledge to put in their head, because when you can do something. You can step out the way. You can fight physically. You can fight mentally. You can fight spiritually. You can fight on every front. But what's going on here is some real devilish, devious mess. They put the Georgia Guildstone up. Negroes thought it was just something that some wacko put up. But who's going to come and spend all that kind of money on these solid granite rocks placed right in the middle where equinox comes and the sun shines on it and stuff, and it makes a shadow and all this stuff, because it's a symbol. And right on that symbol, they tell you what they want, that the world population is going to have to be reduced to a number. I forget the number. I think it's 6. I think they said 6 million, or I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy number. 6 billion people instead of where it is now. I don't know the exact number that there is now, but you can go look it up for yourself, and you can look up the Georgia Guildstone. It's there, and they're telling you how many people they want on Earth. These people ain't playing. We're playing. We're running around Friday nights, the weekend come Negroes out in the bar dancing and shaking their butts and doing everything, and then they go to church on Sunday after they rest today, if they rest. They go to church and shaking their butts and everything and praying to the white God to come help them. That's never going to happen. He's never came to help and never will, because it's fake. And I hope I ain't hurt nobody's feelings that's listening to this show, but these religions are fake. You tell me one time where it helped our people. One time where it helped our people. We have been in peril ever since we came in contact with this white beast. And they're dying, and they want us to die. It's just like the story of the kings that they tell us about Egypt, but it's not true. That when they die, they kill all their servants, and they kill all the people that's around them, and they circle and take them with them when they die. And then they bury them in some elaborate pyramid, where the pyramid ain't never even been a tomb. So, they tell all these lies. They do all these things to get you ready. They show you this stuff on TV to get you prepped for it. The gay stuff, the murder stuff, all this stuff. And they use television to desensitize your mind. So right now, a black man getting killed in the street don't mean nothing. A sister going and aborting her unborn baby don't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything until it comes to a Negro's doorstep, and it's too late, because he ain't got nobody to really stand with him, to really make a change. Now, he may have somebody standing with him to go and put some signs out and march on. They ain't really marching, because when you march, you really marching for war. These Negroes marching to go and get on their knees and beg the white man to please stop. It's never going to happen. All along, our children are being sacrificed. We're sacrificing our young men. We're sacrificing our women, because once all the men are gone, what do you think they're going to do to the women and the children and the elders that's left? The black man is the only thing standing between the black race in destruction because he can get out there. I mean, there's some women that can fight now, don't get me wrong. But usually it's the men that take the war to the enemy. So the thing is we have to wake our black asses up. Get up, stand up, and be counted. Stop getting on your knees begging some fake God that needs your money, because if he's the creator of everything, why he can't create him some cash? That's an easy thing to do. The United States Mint prints it all the time, fiat money. Why God can't make his own money? Like I think I said this on the show before. I asked this preacher. I mean, I was just being sarcastic with him. Like, you taking this money for God? He said, yes, give to God, give to God. And I was like, oh, well, let me ask you a question. If you're giving this to God, when you get ready to leave to deposit it in his bank account or take it to him, can I ride with you so I can meet him? Because I got some things to discuss with him about the situation of black people on earth. And he looked at me, he was like, you're an infidel, a non-believer, you lack faith. While the nigga was putting the money in his pocket. But that's who's getting the money. The preacher's getting the money. Then he's taking it and giving it to white folks to buy Bibles, to buy church equipment, whatever he's going to do. Then you have these homosexual preachers out here that's preying on our children. But nobody thinks that it's bad. Oh, he's just a preacher and everything, because you worshiping men. You're worshiping men. You should be worshiping your children, your mother, and everything that's around you. You know what I'm saying? You should pay homage to your ancestors. What I'm saying is we got to stop the madness, black people. It's time to wake up. Our lives, our livelihood, everything that we know is gone. They took it all. We have nothing left. Africa don't belong to the Africans. Nowhere in America belongs to black people. And then they took the Trojan horse, Barack Barry Obama, if that's his name. I don't even know what his name is. And they put him up in office, the small hats, because I don't want to convict every last white person in America. And I'm saying this for a reason, that white folks are just as big as slaves as we are, other than getting the punishment that we get. But they being used by the Jews. They're the vanguard of the small hats we call the Jews. And they're the ones who running everything behind the scenes because they control the monetary system. Whoever controls the money controls every single thing. And what do you need so bad every day to survive? Money. What white people need every day to survive? Money. Who makes and controls the money? The Jews. They've been doing it for a long time. And getting back around to Barry Obama. It's a white guy that came out in 2008 named Larry Sinclair. And he said he had sex 2 times with Obama. And he said Obama, he sniffed cocaine. Obama wouldn't purchase some cocaine for him. He said he gave him $250. This is before he was president. He was Senator Obama then. And he gave him $250. He made a phone call. They took a ride, and he went and picked up the stuff. Came back in the car. He said he hit a couple of lines because, he was feeling kind of down from his flight in town, jet lag. So he hit a couple of lines. He gave Obama homosexual fellatio sex. And he said why he was doing that, Obama was smoking the pipe. And this white boy has begged for them to get Obama's phone records and everything to prove his thing, to prove his situation that he's not lying. And this happened in 2008 at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. All media is there when this happened. When Dr. Khaled went there, and he was talking, all media was there, and they literally put on TV he was a racist and he hated Jews and all this stuff. So don't tell me if they covered that, they couldn't cover some stuff like that. Happening is when they want you to do what they do, they pick the most wretched black man or white man they have some stuff on them, so they make sure that they will do what they tell them to do, and then, what happens is, like, they had a mayor down in Detroit named Kwame Kilpatrick. They knew about his past and his loving women. I mean, at least he loved women, but he loved a lot of women. So they used that to control him, and then once he did their bidding and opened up the city for gentrification and stuff, they kicked his ass to the curb. Usually that's what they do to you. So I want to just talk about, and I'm not going to end this show early. I think Astro has to go because he has another commitment after this show. And they have this guy, the guys who were killed, that was having, they were saying that he was having sexual intercourse and all other stuff with Barack Obama. And one of them name was Donald Young. And he was killed. He was a preacher, but he was killed execution style, right? Then there's another one named Larry Bland. He was killed execution. It was another one named Nate Spencer. He died from AIDS and complication of AIDS from ammonia. Now Barack Obama was on his climb towards the White House at this time. So all these guys in a month and a half, and they all belonged to Trinity Baptist Church, and they were open gays inside Trinity Church. And they all died in 2007. One died in November. The other one died December the 26th. And the other one died in December the 24th. So they all died within a month and a, they all died. Now, in 2007, right, that was his climb towards the White House, and they had to clean the slate for all the people that knew things about him. They had to clean the slate. So, and then it's been reported by insiders that's been there